Now question 6. A character code is to be formed from the 13 characters shown below. Okay, it's to be formed. So the question now is, we have the letters and we have the numbers. Okay, find the number of different codes in which no two letters follow each other and no two numbers follow each other. No two letters follow each other and no two numbers follow each other. Now what we're going to do here is very simple. We have the question first is 5-character code is to be formed from what? From 13 characters. So the first thing first that we're going to be doing here is, let us find the number of letters that can be used. You understand? Because here, if you check very well, you have find the number of different codes in which no two letters. So that means, how many letters do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then no two letters follow each other. That means, let me first of all find the number of letters that can be formed. So here I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the first one will be, let's see, number of letters to be used. We already know it is 2, isn't it? So if that is the case, and of course don't forget that we are talking about arrangement here. So whenever you talk about arrangement, you go for what? Permutation. And if it is choosing, maybe you are choosing, then you go for what? Combination. So here you have permutation. Is permutation, and for the fact that is permutation, I already know the total number of letters here, which is 6. So I'm going to be saying 6 permutation what? 2. And going by that, you have 6 factorial over 6 minus 2 factorial, and that will give you 6 times 5 times 4 factorial over 6 minus 2 is 4 factorial, isn't it? So you have the answer here will be 30 ways. Now we will now go to what? Numbers. So now we'll go to numbers, number of letters, numbers now, number of numbers to be used. Of course, is also 2. But in this case, let's count the number of numbers that we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here is going to be 7 permutation 2. And what will this be? 7 factorial will be 7 minus 2 factorial. So this is 7 times 6 times what? 7 times 2 times 7 times 6 times 5 factorial, because 7 minus 2 is what? Is 5 factorial. So this cancels this. And if you do that very well, 7 times 6 should give you 42. So in that case, find the number of characters to be used. What's the total number of characters here? We have 5. So in that case, if I'm going for letters, it can either be 3 letters, plus 2 numbers, or we have 2, or let's say 3 numbers plus 2 letters. When we talk about 5 characters and you have the condition that find the number of different ways in which no 2 letters follow each other and no 2 numbers and no 2 letters and numbers, as the case may be, follow each other. So here we have 3 letters plus 2 numbers will give you 5 character code. 3 numbers and 2 letters will give you what? 5 character code. And if that is the code, that means we have 3 letters. Well, what's the letter? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 6 permutation what? 3 here plus 2 numbers will be 7 permutation 2. Then what do we have for 3 numbers? 3 numbers here will be 7 permutation 3 plus 2 letters. 2 letters will be 6 permutation 2. And if that is the case, all we need to do is we express this and we get our answer. So find the number of different codes in which 2 letters follow each other. So that simply means I'll just take it off from here. I have 6 permutation 3 plus 7 permutation 2 plus 7 permutation 3 times, sorry, this should be times, this will also be times what? 6 permutation 2. So quick one, 6 permutation 3, I won't be wasting time on that. That will be 6 5 4, because 6 minus 3 is 3, so that means this will take care, 3 here will take care of itself. And okay, let's include it, divided by 3 factorial. Then let's say we have times what? Times 7 times, there 7 minus 2 is 5, so we have 6 times 5 factorial, all divided by 5 factorial. That's for the first. Then you have plus, and what do you have here? 7 permutation 3. 7 minus 3 here is 4, so I'm stopping at 4. 6 5 times 4 factorial, all divided by 4 factorial, times what? Here you have 6 minus 2 is 4, so that means denominator will be 4 factorial. So yeah, we just stop at 6 times 5 times what? 6 times 5 times 4 factorial over 4 factorial. Thank you. That will be over 4 factorial. Okay, very good. So this will cancel this cancels this takes care of this takes care of this, and your answer will be, if you do your calculation very well, this is 5 times 6 is 30 times 4 is 120, and that means you have 120 times 7 times 6 is 42, and plus this is 30 times 7 is 210. 210 times 6 times 5 is 30, and if you punch your calculator there, your answer will be 11,340 codes. So yeah, find the number of different codes. So this is what you will get here, codes. So that will be all for this, and let's see the second one. In the second one, we have a netball team of 7 players is to be chosen from 10 girls. Netball teams of 7 players to be chosen from 10 girls. Of course, the total number of ways here will be 10 combination, because here you are talking about choosing. So for the fact that you're choosing, you go for combination. So let's see how this works. Okay, so the next thing now is 3 of these 10 girls are sisters. Okay, find the number of different ways the team can be formed if the team does not contain all 3 sisters. Now, the answer to this question is simple. If the team does not contain all 3 sisters, it's the same thing as saying the total number of ways, let's just say number of ways of forming the team minus, if it does not contain all the 3 sisters, then let's say, what if it contains all the 3 sisters? So that means number of ways of forming the 10 man, what is it? Yes, the 10 girl team will be what? 10 girls team will be what? Will be minus when the 3 sisters are there. Yes, so we just say number of ways of forming the team with the 3 sisters. Yes, so if that is the case, what's the total number of ways of forming the team? That will be 10 combination 7, and minus number of ways of forming the team with 3 sisters. We want to form a 7-man team, and we want 3 sisters to be among them, so that means I have 7 combination 3. So if that is the case, I have 10. Combination will be 10 minus 7 factorial 7 factorial minus 7 factorial over what? 7 minus 3 factorial 3 factorial. So this will be equal to 10 times what? 9 times 8 times 7 factorial, all divided by, here you have 3 factorial here, times 7 factorial, then minus 7 here. This is what? 4. So let's see how this will be. 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 factorial, all divided by, here you have 4 factorial and you have 3 factorial. So this will cancel this and this will cancel this. Then you have 10 times 9 times 8 over 3 factorial is 6 minus 7 times 6 times 5 divided by 6 also. So quick one, let's see, 9 times 8 is 72 times 10, 720 over 6 minus, okay, we can even cancel this, isn't it? Yes, it's easy. Okay, so this is what? This is 35. So 6 here 1, 6 here is 1, remaining 1 2. So here you have 120. So here you have 120 minus 35, and if you subtract this, this should give you have 5 here, and here is 11 and this is 8. So that should give me 8 as my 85. That will be let's see, find the number of different ways. So that will be 85 ways. That will give me 85 ways. So thank you. So question 7, solve the quadratic equation. This at first may be a bit terrifying, but you were asked to give your answer in the form a plus b root 3, where a and b are constants. Total marks is 6, and you have the whole page to work on. So let's say here I will just say, solving this, if you want to use any other method apart from the quadratic formula, it may be a bit cumbersome. So why not say, let a here will be equal to 1 minus square root of 2, that is comparing with ax squared plus bx plus c. So here you have b to be equal to what? 1, and c will be equal to 1 plus, no, this is root 3, yeah, 1 plus root 3. So we have, using the quadratic formula, x equal minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So let's see, what's your b? Your b is 1 minus 1 plus or minus square root of 1. So here 1 squared is still 1 minus 4. A is 1 minus root 3. C is 1 plus root 3. And that will be divided by 2 times 1 minus root 3. So if that is the case, we have x equal minus 1 plus or minus square root of 1. Now, talking about this is what we call conjugate of a surd. So the conjugate of this surd is this. So what I'm going to be doing here is, I will just say 1 minus 4 bracket. So what we are going to do here is just write the first one squared. Are you there? So, and you may want to go by the way of expanding. You will get the same thing, but you don't have to maybe disturb yourself. Just use the concept of difference of 2 squares, and that means you have square root of 3 here, then square it. So your square root still there, then you divide by 2 minus 2 root 3. So if that is the case, I'm going to have minus 1 plus or minus square root of 1. So here I have minus 4 plus, here square root of 3 squared is 3. and if I multiply by 4, I'll get 12. So here I'm going to have minus times minus gives plus, then you have 12. Okay, and you divide by 2 minus 2 root 3. So if that is the case, you have minus 1 plus or minus. So here you want to add all. Okay, let's see. This is minus 3 and this is 9. So you have square root of 9 here. Then divided by 2 minus 2 root 3. So if that is the case, this means you have minus 1 plus or minus 3 divided by 2 minus 2 root 3. So for the fact that you have plus or minus here, you are going to have minus 1 plus 3 divided by 2 minus 2 root 3, or minus 1 minus 3, that will be divided by 2 minus 2 root 3. So which implies that you have x to be equal to, here you are going to have 2. I may want to factorize here so that I have 1 minus square root of 3 here, and or here I'm going to be having 4. Then you divide it by 2, the same 1 minus square root of 3 in brackets. So this will cancel this cancels this. You have x to be equal to 1 divided by, you have 1 divided by 1 minus square root of 3, or minus 2 divided by 1 minus square root of 3. So if that is the case, the form, don't forget you are told to leave your answer in this form, a plus b root 3. So that is what will make us to rationalize this. So we have on rationalizing, what we are going to have will be x equal 1 over 1 minus square root of 3 times. Do not forget, when you are rationalizing, you multiply numerator and denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. So here you have 1 plus root 3 over 1 plus root 3, or let's do the same thing to this also, where you have minus 2 over what? 1 minus square root of 3. So we have 1 plus square root of 3 over 1 plus square root of 3. So here you are going to have x equal 1 plus square root of 3 divided by conjugate. We have 1 minus the square of the square root of 3, or minus 2 bracket 1 plus square root of 3 over 1 minus square root of 3 all squared. So here you have x equal 1 plus square root of 3, all divided, the square of the square root of 3 is 3, 1 minus 3 is minus 2, or minus 2 minus 2 root 3 divided by minus 2. So this will be x equal minus half here, minus root 3 over 2, or this minus cancels this. You have 2 here, you have 1 plus square root of 3. So if you do that very well, let's say comparing with a plus b root 3, what you're going to be having here will be a here will be what? A will be equal to half, b will be equal to minus half also, or a will be equal 1, or b will be equal to 1, and that is the answer. Question 8, we have show that 1 over sine 1 over 1 minus sine x minus 1 over 1 plus sine x equals to 2 times x sec x. So what we are going to do here is, let's quickly find the LCM. So if I find the LCM here, of course it's going to be 1 minus sine x bracket 1 plus sine x. So if that is the case, 1 minus sine x in this, you have, it will give 1 plus sine x multiplied by 1. I have 1 plus sine x minus, put a bracket whenever you have minus, So this and this, you have this, multiply it by 1, you have 1 minus sine x. So if that is the case, your answer here is going to be 1 plus sine x minus 1 plus sine x, all divided by 1. If you check this very well, you see this is difference of 2 squares, so you have 1 squared minus sine squared x. And if you do your calculation very well, 1 will cancel 1, so sine x plus sine x, the answer here should give 2 sine x over, this is 1 minus sine squared x. And recall that 1 minus sine squared x is equal to cos squared x. So, and if that is the case, the answer here will be 2 sine x all divided by cos squared x. So where exactly are we going? If you check the question, we are asked to show that it is equal to 2 tan x sec x. So, and to get tan x here, I'm going to do something like this, over cos x multiply by 1 over, since we have cos squared here, you can have another cos here. So if that is the case, 2 here, sin x over cos x is tan x, then you multiply by 1 over cos x is what? Sec x. So this is sec x, and that is what the question is asking you to prove. And we have this, so here we have as required. So if that is the case, the next thing we'll be solving here, if you check very well, you see that this is 4 marks, and we have n solve the equation 1. Now if you check this very well, you see that this is the question given, and when we solve, we got this. So the question is now solve this and equate it to cos x. And if you check this very well, you have to solve the equation. So solving the equation means you find the value of x. So if that is the case, we're going to have now this is what? This is 2 tan x sec x all divided by, if you check this very well, this is cosec x is the same thing as 1 over sin x. And if that is the case, I want us to quickly do simple calculation here. So this is 2 tan x is what? Sin x over, this is 1 over cos x, you have cos x, so this should be cos squared x, which will be equal to 1 over sin x. So if you do your calculation very well there, you should have, if you cross multiply, you will have 2 sin squared x over cos squared x, which will be equal to 1. So if you do your calculation now, keep solving, you have sin squared x over cos squared x, which will be equal to 1 over 2. And if you do your calculation very well, sin squared x is the same thing as tan squared x, equal to 1 over 2. So the best thing we need to do here is just to square root both sides. So we have square root both sides, and if you do that, you're going to have tan x equal to the square root of 1 over 2. And if you do that very well, 1 over 2, square root of 1 over 2 gives 0.7071. So that means if I'm to solve for x here, it's going to be x equal to arctan 0.7071, and of course x will give you 35.26 degrees. Now if you check this, check the condition given, we have for 0 degree less than or equals to x less than or equals to what? 360 degrees. So we're going to be using the concept of quadrant here. If you check this very well, you will agree with me that tan x is positive in which quadrant? It will be positive in first and third quadrant. Yes, so let's see how that will work. Talking about the first quadrant, of course, that is x. Second quadrant, if you can, just to do a brief revision on that. Second quadrant, if you can remember very well, second quadrant is you have something like this quadrant. You have 180 minus x. So if you have to put the value of x into this, you have 180 minus 35.26. And if you do your calculation very well there, you should have 144.74 degrees. And talking about the third quadrant, in the third quadrant, if you check very well, third quadrant is 180 plus x. That means I have 180 plus 35.26. So you are free to add that up. If you are going by the way of the third quadrant, that should give you 215.26 degrees. And of course, if you go by the way of the fourth quadrant, what will be the fourth quadrant? Fourth quadrant, if you can remember very well, is always 360 minus x. And what will that be? That will be 360 minus 35.26. Punch your calculator there. You should get 324.74 degrees. And if you check this, they are all within the condition given, which is 0 degrees less than or equals to x less than or equals to 360 degrees. Next question. Question 9. In this question, you have a curve and a line AB. And of course, you have the question y equals to 2 square root of x. You have the normal to the curve at the point 4, 2. So this is how we approach this kind of question. The first thing you have to do first is to find the gradient of this line. Now, when you find the gradient of this line, then you will find the gradient of this line AB. Now, the gradient of this line AB is going to be a normal to this curve. It's going to be a normal to this curve, because if you check the angle between them, you see that they are perpendicular to each other. Of course, we're talking about angle 90. So if that is the case, first thing first, as I've said, let's quickly calculate the gradient of this curve. Now, don't forget that y equal to, since I have 2 root x, I'm going to say 2x raised to power what? Half. So what will be my dy dx? My dy dx will be equal to 2. So now let's see. Bring these 2 down, which is half. X raised to power half, then subtract 1 from it, which implies that my dy dx will be equal to 2. We cancel 2. You have x, which will be raised to power minus half, isn't it? Yes. And the moment you get that, the next thing we need to do now is to have a value. As I've said, let's find the value of the dy dx, and that means we have to take it where x equal to what? 4. As you can see, this is the point of intersection. So this is x, y, this is y. So this is what? X equals 4. So we say when x equal 4, what will now be our dy dx? Our dy dx will now be equal to 4 raised to power minus half, which means that dy dx will be equal to 1 over, this means the square root of 4. And what's the square root of 4? That's this 2. So therefore, your dy dx, going by this question, is half. Now, that is that. So talking about the equation of AB, as I've said, since this is the gradient of this line, and as you can see, we've gotten half as that, so we're going to find the normal. So in that case, we'll come and say equation of normal. Now, equation of normal generally is y1 equal to minus 1 over what? Dy dx, which will now be x minus x1. So all we have to do here is, let's go ahead and start substituting our values. So quick one, let's see. Here we have the point, which is x is 4, y is 4. So we just go ahead and substitute and get our value. So we have y minus 4 equal to, your dy dx is what? Is half. So what you are saying here is just minus 1 over 2 is 2, bracket, x minus 4. So you just go ahead and solve your equation here. You have x minus 4, which will be minus 2x plus 8. So therefore the equation will now be, can I bring down my 2x to this side? That will be equal to 8. So when you take minus 4 to this side, you have plus 4, and that gives 12. So the equation of that line, which is AB, is y plus 2x equal to 12. So let's see the second part of this question. The second part of this question is find the coordinate of B. How can we get the coordinate of B? Very easy. So all we need to do is, now let's check. If I'm to draw a line here, let's say I'm to draw a line here, and of course that means this is 4, this is also 4, isn't it? So if I want to get the coordinate of B, the coordinate of B here will be, let's say x, let's assume it is x, and of course because it's on the x-axis, your y will be equals to 0. So in that case, we know the gradient of line AB already, isn't it? Yes, that is minus 2. So I will just go here and do the needful, get my answer, and then move on. So that means this is getting this, I will just say using y2 minus y1, which will be equal to minus 1 over what? dy dx, and that is that will be x2 minus x1. This is what we call the 2 points formed. 2 points formed. So if that is the case, then let's see how that will work for us. Where is your y2? Going by what you have here, this is x1 y1, x2 y2. So your x1 is 4, y1 is 4, x2 is x, y2 is 0. So now let's see quickly. We're going to have 0 minus 4 equal to minus 2, and that will be x2. We've already said, check it very well, x2 is x. And what about your x1? Go through it. X1 is 4, so we have it there, x1 is 4. So from here, let's solve, and let's get the coordinate of B, which is the value of x. So now let's see, this is going to be minus 4 equal to minus 2x plus 8, which implies that you're going to have minus 2x, which will be equal to minus 12. So if I divide both sides by minus 2, I'm going to have x equal to minus 12 over minus 2, which implies that x is equal to 6. Next question.